And we've been kind of investigating ideas of scale for quite a while now.
Right.
The show we did here 2 years ago called Gigantic was basically an investigation of scale. So there was a lot of large scale pieces in that show, but also like my previous work before we started collaboration there was a lot of large scale work involved in that too, and so now we're starting to go the other direction, and we're doing an installation in the furnace room. It's the furnace room from when the soap factory used to be a soap factory, and all of the furnace equipment is still in there, and so we're using that as our backdrop for an installation, and we're basically spanning a miniature bridge across the space, and we're going to have a scene on the bridge where there's a scale model of a semi-truck which is broken down on the center of the bridge.
Yeah, and the semi is, there's going to be some steam coming out of the engine. There's some sort of, the piece isn't completely static because there's some little steam that's going to come out of the hood, and its hazards are flashing, and there's also going to be fog in the bottom of the space. And I think the hope with all of that is to create a pretty specific mood, that there's something kind of tenuous happening, where the truck is broken down, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's sort of a scary situation because the bridge is like really high up off the ground and you can't see the bottom. I don't know, kind of a frightening scene, I guess, but not in a Halloween kind of way, more like just something that might be a little bit unnerving. And we're hoping that the boiler parts that are still in the space end up looking like some kind of strange futuristic, maybe landscape, or maybe not even futuristic. Actually, I guess maybe it'll be nice if it's kind of hard to place exactly what time period it's from, so maybe that's a little bit ambiguous. We kind of tried to get a truck that was very classic looking, it didn't necessarily look like it was from today or from a certain time period. And same with the bridge, it's kind of matches the space, but doesn't, it matches the space in that it's kind of dirty and gritty, but again, it could have been from like a bygone industrial era, or it could have been from now. So the time period's a little ambiguous on this one.
Yeah, for me the space is, it sort of represents like the Industrial Revolution taken to an extreme. So it's sort of this place where everything, all of your surroundings and nature and everything has become mechanized. And so it's almost like the bridge is spanning over what was once a canyon and may have had a river or something and trees and all that, but it's been so industrialized that it's all now just become the part of this like earth machine or something.
Right, and I think there's kind of a precarious relationship that's implied between industry and nature in the piece, because we've got this really strange industrial landscape, but then there's kind of this foggy bottomless pit that it's hovering over, and you're not really sure. And also the idea of nature being sort of the element of unpredictability, that you don't know exactly when and where you're going to break down and what you're going to do as a result of that space.
We've done a couple other pieces that involve miniatures and sort of a miniature world intersecting with a scale to life scale, a life-size scale, and so I think that kind of sparked something, looking at the space and imagining miniatures going through it, and then turning that into a landscape. And but I don't know. A lot of times with our collaborative work, it's hard to trace
exactly
the germination of the idea or who came up with what, or